Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Piedmont Unitarian Universalist Church. Piedmont UU sits on the traditional land of the Catawba, Kiawe, and Sugaree peoples. My name is Rhiannon Estwick, and I will be the worship assistant for Reverend Shakisha Holton Gray this morning. We are a flourishing, vibrant, and radically welcoming congregation which promotes diversity, inclusion, and social justice. We provide a safe haven for creative intellectual growth, spiritual development, and a deep sense of community for all who join us. We hope our liberal religious values will challenge you to join us as a community that lives boldly and acts justly. To all of our visitors and our members, we're very glad you're here in person or with us online. And we hope to see you again soon. Your presence is a gift to us. Our announcements this Sunday. Our church yard sale at University is this coming Saturday morning already. If you have not signed up to help out or have items to donate, please contact Becky or email fundraising@puuc.org as soon as you can. Please also come by and buy some items. That would be great too. We also have an announcement regarding the proposed share use path along Mallard Creek Road. So many of you may know that the city wants to construct a wide sidewalk and planting strip along Mallard Creek Road in front of the church property. The intent is to improve safety for pedestrian and bicycling traffic, which, it needs. The shared use path will also have a large impact on our front yard, or trees, and or driveways. There is currently a drawing of the proposed design taped to the hallway wall near the member photos. There is also a copy of a postcard with a QR code that takes you to the city's website for this project that includes an 8-minute presentation. The city project manager has agreed to meet us in the church at a yet-to-be-determined time the week of June 8th. The city will be accepting comments on the plan until 5 p.m. on June 19th. So please take a moment after church to review the plan, and please participate in the meeting once it is scheduled, and we have provided some more details. Watch for additional information in the newsletter with suggested talking points. If you have any questions, please contact Harry Lancaster, who is the co-lead of Building and Grounds. I would also like to note that if you are interested in becoming an observer for the university gathering, please contact the Board of Trustees or email secretary@puuc.org. We are in need of more observers for university gathering. Previously, this was only available to members of the board, current or past members of the board, but we are seeking to widen the pool. So if you are interested, please email either bot@puuc.org or secretary@puuc.org. Thank you very much. Now, today our guest worship leader is Reverend Shakisha Holton Gray. Reverend Shakisha and her family have a long history with PUUC, Piedmont UU Church, including being founding members of our Salisbury gathering, allowing Piedmont UU Church to be her ordaining congregation, and having served as a temporary minister for us. We welcome her back to our pulpit. For other important information about our vibrant community, please see your order of service, or if you are on our email list, please check our monthly newsletter and weekly announcements. Whatever brought you to this place at this hour, we welcome you. May you find something that you need, and may you leave richer in spirit than when you arrived.
The chalice is the symbol of our faith. We take inspiration knowing that as each Unitarian Universalist community gathers for worship, they too light a chalice. We recognize its light as a commitment to our shared faith. As we kindle this flame, we illuminate the sacred in all of us. We are held from day to day, week to week, month to month, by its shining example. We are brought together this day, called to growth, to expansion. We are nurtured by the beacon of its promise that we are never alone. Please join me in singing the words to Lighting Our Chalice, the symbol of our faith. Thank you, Anne. A call to worship is secretly a call to focus our attention. Daily, we are called to worship at the altar of many devices, most of them electronic, some of them analog. We are called by headlines set purely on our activation and by tools that gamify our every human connection. We are not called, though. We're led. But maybe we're not led. We're entrapped. Instead, here, we practice being called. We are called to bring our attention to the altar of unpredictable human relatedness. We are called by our ancestors to this space, this room's particular light, the chalice's particular fire, and these beautiful humans that surround us. We are called to focus all of our attention on an open-hearted commitment to share a future together that we cannot cancel or control. In the words of the poet Farmer Wendell Berry, we are called here to do something today that does not compute. I invite you to please rise as you are willing and able in body or spirit to complete our call to worship. The words are found in your order of service. Spirit of life, call our collective attention to this precise moment, the threshold between then and now, the moment upon which we hang our honest promises like portraits, chiseled and framed by our own hands, imperfectly and together. Come, let us worship together. Please remain standing, and we will sing through our opening hymn, number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are, found in the gray hymnal. We'll sing through that 2 times.
Fighting today? Because he's your friend. Hello. Welcome to Time of All Ages. And thank you, friends, for coming down to the carpet to sit with me today. So this month we've been talking about awakening curiosity. And today in Time of All Ages and in RE, we're going to talk about bridging to the future, bridging our future self. And to do that, we have a story. The Magical Yet. Words by Angela Tiderzi and art by Lorena Alvarez Gomez. All right, I'm going to turn a little bit so you guys can see. There are days when your dreams haven't come true, or you're upset by the things you can't do. If you've lost or failed or cried just a bit, you're tired of waiting, ready to quit. Like that shiny new bike you couldn't ride, and it didn't matter how hard you tried. You couldn't pedal, and you couldn't steer, and you couldn't get that bike into gear. Do you guys ride bikes yet? You ride bikes? Is it hard when you first started?
I already got a new one. It's like
Yeah.
2 big tires.
Do you have a tricycle? Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Then, when you thought you were on the right track, you popped a wheelie and fell on your back. I used to wreck a lot, actually. And now you won't ride. No way, not ever. No riding for you. You'll walk forever. Don't give up now. There's a major game changer, a most amazing thought rearranger. Someone to show you how good you can get. Now introducing the Magical Yet. I love this picture. See, the Magical Yet. With this Yet's magic, you can begin to see that you're going beyond where you've been. There are many things that you've learned to do when you didn't know the Yet was with you. Like when you babbled before you could talk. You're still practicing? Yeah. Yeah, she's practicing. Or how you crawled before you could walk. Yet's a dreamer, a schemer, a hoper, a trier, a maker, a doer, a gotta fly higher. This yet finds a way, even when you don't, and yet knows you will when you think that you won't. Like that shiny new bike that you couldn't ride, hop right back on with the yet by your side. Yet doesn't mind worn-ups, fixes and flops, do-overs, redos, stumbles and stops. I once hit a fence trying to ride a bike. That was a major do-over. Yet there's mistakes, some big and some small. With yet, you're going to get them all. Play the kazoo or play the bassoon. Jam with the yet, and you'll soon be in tune. Try skateboarding tricks like the ollie he flop. This yet can get you to the championship. Ollie he flip. This yet can get you to the championship. Tongue twisters, twisted your tongue in a knot. You say keep trying and practice a lot. Be patient, yet can't do it all overnight. Some things take days, months, or years to get right. Do you think she could paint like this in one day? No. How long do you think she practiced for?
A year.
Maybe even longer.
Maybe a
Do-overs with this microphone. I'm having trouble with my microphone. But if you keep leaping, dreaming, and wishing, waiting, learning, trying, and missing. So look what she's doing here. What is she doing here? She's doing the ballet, right? So she's learning her pilates, and she's a beginner. But if she keeps leaping, dreaming, and wishing, waiting, learning, trying, and missing, with the yet as your guide along the way, you'll do the things you can't do today. And look how beautiful she is at her ballet now.
like a thrill.
Yeah. Now you're bolder, braver, starting to see. With yet, you can get where you want to be. So we all make mistakes, right?
Yep.
And sometimes they get frustrating.
Yes. We have made mistakes.
Yes, we all make mistakes. And sometimes we try things that are really hard, right? Like Jennifer trying to work with the AV today. But we practice, we do over, and we get to the magical yet. Do y'all want to come play with us in RE today? Sure? Sure? All right, how about you, baby? Apologize for the AV failure on my part.
This is our time of ritual and sacred sharing, a time for sharing our joys and sorrows, our concerns and milestones. First, this week, we light a candle for Eric H., whose father is in hospice. For Linda P., who is part of our Salisbury gathering, who was in the hospital this past week. For peace to prevail in the Middle East and our leaders to be guided by visions of peace instead of visions of war. For all impacted by ICE raids and the ongoing activity from that, especially at Delaney Hall and across all the ICE concentration camps. For all areas of violence around the world, especially the ongoing war in Ukraine. For our country, that we might live into being a society guided by justice and compassion for every person. At this time, you are welcome to come up and fill out a prayer card, drop a stone into our shared water, or light your own candle of joy or concern. Rhiannon will hand the candle to you if you wish to light a candle. I invite you, as you come forward, to walk along our outer aisle next to the wall. We light a few more candles for those things that we hold in our hearts that remain unspoken, and for those joining us from elsewhere to honor what is in their hearts as well. I invite you now into a time of quiet rest, meditation, or prayer as we follow the sound of the singing bowl into silence. After a moment of silence, we will have a musical meditation.
Changing your mind is one of the hardest things a human being can do. It isn't hard because new evidence is rare or because learning is unpleasant. It's hard because beliefs don't just live in the intellect. They live in identity, community, memory, and pride. The quiet courage of changing your mind lies in its humility. It requires acknowledging that your understanding was partial, that your perspective was limited, and/or that the world is more complex than the story you once told yourself. Children do this naturally. They revise their understanding constantly because they aren't yet invested in being right. They're instead invested in figuring things out. Somewhere along the way, we replaced curiosity with reputation.
How many of us as kids maybe had dolls and we cut the hair off of our dolls? Or maybe used permanent marker to draw makeup on our Cabbage Patch Kids? Or some of us might have built ramps for our bicycles, and maybe it didn't turn out that well. Sort of like in the book that we heard this morning. Perhaps we just figured that we did some of these not so smart things because we were bored, like drawing on our bedroom walls. What if as adults we learned that this was all a myth? How many of us were told boredom leads to creativity? Well, I'm here to myth bust for you. That's it. I'm done. That's my sermon. It's dead. That myth is dead now. I'm kidding. It does feel a bit strange, though, right? Boredom leads to creativity, but if that's not the case, then what is? Creativity is something that we foster, and in most cases requires a lot of work and practice to achieve certain skills which are deemed as creative pursuits. For example, we all have this mutual friend, Kyla, who is a potter. She has an art degree in ceramics, and it's taken her almost 2 decades of teaching classes and attending vendor fairs while she was building up her studio at her home. And then finally, just this past month, she signed a lease for her very first gallery and commercial studio space. Now that didn't happen because she was bored. It takes time to learn to build furniture, sew, quilt, knit, maybe even write good poetry. Cook. What are some other things it takes time to learn? Play an instrument. That's a really good one there. Yes, yeah. What was it? Painting. See, we're told that creative pursuits, sometimes as adults, they also feel diminished in some way because we're told that we do these things to keep from being bored. Well, that's not necessarily true. For the past decade or so, neuroscientists have studied and argued about what boredom truly is. Dr. John Eastwood and his team concluded that boredom is the inability to connect with the environment around you. It's wanting to do something, but not having something to do. and he described it as a tedious state to experience. It can be difficult and challenging, slow and tiresome. So what do we do with that? Arthur Brooks from Harvard University states that essentially at its core, boredom is introspection. It's contemplating our space in the universe. Boredom is when we allow ourselves and our minds to just be. There's no outside interference. And often, we don't like that. It's unpleasant because it pushes us to turn on the brain circuits necessary for self-reflection. We don't like having nothing to think about or nothing to do, but we also don't like those existential thoughts. So we do all that we can to keep from allowing ourselves to just be. Still, quiet, present in our bodies, present in our thoughts. James Dankart largely agrees with Dr. Eastwood and disagrees with Brooks. He writes that because boredom is the uncomfortable feeling of wanting to be stimulated, wanting to connect with our environment, but failing to engage in the world, the goal of boredom is to eliminate itself. He thinks Brooks is oversimplifying boredom by saying it's necessary for introspection. Boredom is activated when there's nothing externally for us to do. Yes, it's active for daydreaming and autobiographical memories, but, he says, it's spontaneous. It's deliberate mind wandering. And then he does say, however, that using boredom as a signal to seek meaning sounds perfectly reasonable to him. So who do we believe? Because that's a lot of information coming from a lot of really smart people that have spent decades of their life studying this. I believe that perhaps both things are true. Having nothing to do with our minds pushes us to seek our place in the world around us. Yes, when we're bored, we often create. Creating leads to tangible, tactile ways we are present in the world. And when we can't find things to do with our hands, we use our minds to seek meaning. Boredom leads to both introspection and connection. As children, we can't verbalize this or even really understand it. We say we're bored and we're redirected by others around us, often in creative ways. Because being curious as a child is encouraged in ways it's not necessarily encouraged as adults. Being creative and curious as a child is seen as artistic and expressive, a way to learn and grow. While as adults, our creativity is sometimes viewed as a hobby or something we should monetize rather than simply enjoy doing or do to continue learning and growing. As children, we might not have the language skills and words to recognize and describe things, and so when our minds go quiet and there's nothing to do, we begin to internally contemplate our place in the universe. And as children, maybe even as adults, sometimes those things seem scary. We turn inwards and our imaginations come alive. We turn to things we do understand, coming up with elaborate stories, and most often, these scary thoughts or imaginative stories happen when? Any parents or grandparents know? At times of rest. When our minds are quieted and our imaginations come to the forefront. How many of us have ever experienced putting a 5-year-old to bed at night that just would not settle? And they kept hearing noises or monsters under their bed or something in their closet. Or maybe they even created an elaborate story about things that may or may not have happened at school that day. Or an 8-year-old that comes out of their room crying at night because they're sad that grandma might never wake up because so-and-so's grandma went to sleep and never woke up. And what does dying really mean? It's like, do we have time for that? You have school in the morning. As adults these days, we're inundated with stimuli. Access to the world in the palms of our hands. So a recent article from Forbes titled "Boredom is Now a Symptom of Overstimulation" by Cheryl Robinson is what sent me down this rabbit hole of study. Ironically enough, on my phone. How many of us, I hear laughter, so how many of us are guilty of this? The article touches on the fact that because we're overstimulated as a society, we crave more novel or even dangerous ways to seek stimuli. Because we're constantly scrolling from one idea to the next, our minds never have the chance to quiet themselves, and in doing so, seek meaning. Being overstimulated does ourselves real harm in not having those moments of boredom. Quieting our minds and contemplating our place in the universe is necessary. Just being allows us to self-reflect and to better understand our place in the world. Self-reflection is being lost because it's too easy to distract ourselves and fill that void with something rather than sitting in the silence. Boredom is perhaps a path to our becoming more self-aware, and in that way, boredom can lead to more compassion, more curiosity, more creativity. So if boredom is lost, then those other things suffer as well. And if I can stretch this far enough, we could even go as far to say that boredom in and of itself is a form of meditation, where our minds quiet and we just are. When we're overstimulated, it pulls us and our minds away from being more present in the world and in ourselves. So either way we approach boredom, from Brooks's perspective of needing it for introspection, or Dankhart's that we need it to seek connection in the world, boredom is necessary. So what can we do? We can put away our phones. We can challenge ourselves to spend less time on a screen. My phone gives me a weekly report that says you've used your phone 45 minutes less this week than the week before. And I've taken it as a personal challenge to beat that time the next week. And every time I beat that time from the previous week, it's less and less and less time that I'm on my phone. When we go to reach for our phones, we can pause and ask ourselves, what's the harm in being bored? We can be more present with our little ones, decreasing their screen time as well. We all know that for developmental reasons, less screen time is a good thing, but let us also consider that for existential reasons, less screen time is a good thing. Those big thoughts and feelings that seem scary or imaginative are good to have. They help us learn our place in the world around us. If we're bored more often, then we can just be more often. And in just being, we can open ourselves to our relationship with others and to seek understanding. However, there is a cautionary side to all of this. For our loved ones who live with anxiety and depression, boredom can be dangerous and lead to scary places. For those individuals, introspection can deepen their concerns and worries and troubles. It becomes unhealthy. And for our loved ones in elder care as well, as a hospice chaplain, I've visited many assisted living communities. And while some are fantastic at doing wonderful jobs of engaging folks, some not so much. And sitting in a corner or in your room all day forces the body and mind into a terrible state of isolation. These are the flaws and reality of true boredom. Not having anything to engage us. It's easy for me to offer suggestions on what we can do with healthy minds and healthy bodies, both lean into and to mitigate boredom. But the reality is that some of us don't have that luxury. So let us all take a deep breath. Ground yourselves in this space. Because having spaces like this matter. Places we can go to unplug, contemplate, reflect, discuss, share, and connect, and deepen our understanding of the sacred. How we show up in this space matters, and how we show up for others matters too. Whether we're allowing boredom to shine its light and show us curious ways of being, or whether we're helping others to be present in the world in tangible and meaningful ways that keep their minds from going to dark places. Showing up for ourselves and for others is what matters the most. May we allow ourselves to just be. Be curious and creative. Be authentic. Be compassionate. Be more human. May it be so.
Way too short. Sometimes it takes a second, y'all. Really murking it. Okay. All right, we're ready. All right, still in two. All right. Okay. Let's do it.
y'all have to forgive me. I'm a woman of a certain rage, and it's getting warm in here. I think it's 70 degrees in here as well. Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope. For we are now the keepers of the dream. This month, we're sharing our offering plate with Green Faith, because the earth and all her people are sacred and at risk. Green Faith is building a worldwide multi-faith climate and environmental movement. Together, Green Faith members create communities to transform ourselves, our spiritual institutions, and society to protect the planet and create compassionate, loving, and a just world. Our host will pass around the baskets, and we ask that as you pass the baskets down your row, as you receive them, you may place your gift in the basket as they make their way around the room. You're always welcome to give online at puuc.org or by texting PUUC to the number 73256. Today's offering will now gratefully be received. As always, we thank you for the gifts contained within these baskets and for the gifts that you offer to this beloved community. Let us rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 1064, and our teal hymnals, Blue Boat Home.
Still I try and
Before we extinguish our chalice, I offer thanks for the many volunteers who helped make our worship service possible this morning. We also ask that before you leave today to please place your hymnals back onto the cart near the piano. Let us take a moment to give thanks, either in our hearts or with words, for the things in life for which we are thankful for today. I invite you to name gratitudes out loud.
I'd like to express thanks to our former minister, Robin Tanner, who's taken a leading role in opposition to the ICE Center in North New Jersey, and was pepper sprayed with the United States Senator in New Jersey just this past week. I'm grateful for her. Health.
For health. And Anne said she was grateful for Robin Tanner.
I'm grateful for Lydia, who played the cello this morning.
Oh, grateful for Lydia playing the cello. Thank you.
I'm grateful for Lydia leading us off in our series of special music each month.
Grateful for Lydia leading us off in special music every month.
I'm grateful that winning a church auction allowed me to do a once a Blue Moon activity on a Blue Moon.
Oh, grateful for winning a church auction that allowed him to participate in something once in a blue moon on the blue moon.
I'm grateful for the critters that show up at my back door at night asking for peanut butter sandwiches.
Grateful for the critters that show up at her back door every night asking for peanut butter sandwiches, Beth. She said she's grateful to have me back. Jason's over there too.
I'm grateful for the technology that allowed me to share a face-to-face time with my sick sister-in-law in Michigan.
Oh, because it said she's grateful for the face-to-face technology that allowed her to share a conversation with her sick sister.
I'm grateful we have 2 gatherings because that's a lot of options. That's pretty awesome.
Yes. Rhiannon said she's grateful for 2 gatherings because that's a lot of options for folks, and having options is a good thing.
I'm grateful for Anne and her patience and doing a duet with me.
Grateful for Anne and her patience in doing a duet with, Lydia said that, doing a duet with her. May we all take the time to fully immerse ourselves in creative potential, no matter the medium. May we all be reminded that the process is what matters, not just the final outcome. And may we all lean into the boredom and allow ourselves to just be more often. We now extinguish our chalice, but we carry its light, its warmth, and its meaning with us until we meet again. May we go in peace, believe in peace, and create peace wherever we wander. For our closing hymn, we make a circle, and you may hold hands if you wish, but you may also simply stand in the circle and put your hand to your heart. It's our sung blessing 10:10, We Give Thanks.